A woman who's supposed to be dead appeared at her own funeral, but what she did next will shock you. Noella was a woman from Africa who decided to fly to Australia so she could start a new life. Noella took her 5 children with her, and while she was in Australia, she met a man who she fell in love with. Within no time, the couple moved in together and got married, but Noella began to see a violent side to her new husband. Unfortunately, Noella's mom passed away, so she flew back to Africa to say her final goodbyes. After the ceremony, she went back to her hotel where she was greeted by a man who threatened to hurt her unless she did what he said. The kidnappers explained her husband hired them to take care of her, but they were not going to hurt her because they didn't hurt women or children. The kidnappers lied and told her husband she was dead, but they collected the money and let her go. When Noella got back to Australia, she heard that her husband was throwing a funeral for her, so she knew it was the perfect time to get the ultimate revenge. While her funeral was happening, she walked up, and what she did next will shock you.
Here are 5 emojis that you've been using wrong. Most people think this symbolizes praying, but it's actually just a high five. And the right-facing fist doesn't mean to punch, it's actually a sign of respect. You probably think this is a kiss, right? Well, it's actually just a whistle. Most people use this emoji to signify reading something beneath it, but it actually means that you're down or under the weather. And this isn't just a pink ribbon, it's actually a sign of fighting cancer.
A deaf woman gets her hearing restored and then realizes what her husband's job really is. Amy Hutchins was a woman who was diagnosed with deafness at birth. Growing up, she was never able to hear the sounds of her family's voices or any of her friends. It seemed to Amy that her family was always sending her to doctor's appointments trying to get her hearing fixed. Amy eventually found a man who seemed to love her for who she was and immediately fell in love. Amy's parents were persistent and finally found a doctor who was willing to perform surgery to potentially fix her hearing. Amy agreed to the surgery and after 3 hours finally woke up to the sound of her surgeon's voice. Every time Amy tried talking to her husband, he always had an excuse not to. Amy noticed he began to arrive home late, but what she discovered is so shocking. Police find the missing remains of a boy in concrete, but couldn't believe who did it. Part 2. After the landlord broke the wall down on the backside of the house, Evan's father saw his son's decomposing body on the inside of the wall. Police immediately decided to take matters into their own hands to figure out who could have done this to a 3-year-old boy. Police immediately began questioning everyone that could have had contact with the little boy, but what they discovered left them speechless. Before I continue, I just discovered a brand new app that will scan your palm and tell you your future. Click the link in my bio if you want to find out your future. Police discovered that the man who did such a horrible thing to the little boy was actually his mother's new boyfriend. The security system at the house caught the boyfriend taking the little boy and cementing him inside the wall. Thankfully, he's serving life in prison. A rich girl steals money from a homeless man for years until one day he gets the ultimate revenge. Part 2. Francis jumped up and ran after the woman, but unfortunately she was too fast and got away. He was extremely mad because he could tell that she was wearing designer clothes, yet she was still stealing from him. Francis decided to not back down and that this may be his opportunity to end her career. The next morning, he went into the local McDonald's he slept outside of and told the manager the entire thing. The manager checked the security camera footage and luckily it caught everything on camera. Francis took the footage to the police, who told him there was not enough evidence to arrest her, so he decided to take matters into his own hands. Before I tell you, I just discovered a brand new app where you can prank your friends by changing their text messages. Click the link in my bio to try it out for free. A lawyer helped Francis sue the girl and he got $400,000. This man gave his girlfriend a necklace, but 2 years later she screams when she realizes what's inside. Part 2. While Terry and Anna were in Scotland, Terry began to worry about the object that was inside of her necklace. Terry decided that he was going to show her what was inside, but wasn't quite sure how to get it off of her neck. He waited until they visited the northern Scotland caves, but was scared that she would never look at him the same after finding out what was inside. Terry asked if he could borrow her necklace, but what happened next is so shocking you will not believe it. Before I continue, I just discovered a brand new app that will scan your palm and tell you your future. Click the link in my bio if you want to find out your future. Terry opened the necklace and asked Anna if she would marry him. Anna realized that the ring was inside the necklace the entire time and immediately said yes. The couple had to cancel their wedding due to COVID, but she only wanted his money, so he got the ultimate payback on her wedding day. Part 2. After kicking Andrea out of his house, Dino returned the following week to find that she destroyed his car. Dino was extremely upset but knew that he had to wait for the right time to strike back. A few months later, Dino found out that Andrea was getting married to a new woman and knew that it was his time to strike and get the ultimate revenge. Before I continue, I just discovered a brand new app that will scan your palm and tell you your future. Click the link in my bio if you want to find out your future. Dino wrote her a letter with a picture of his wrecked car, a picture of her wedding dress, and a ketchup packet saying red on white. Dino found out where Andrea was buying her dress and paid them so they would make her dress red. Dino ordered red lipstick and had it sent to Andrea's house to freak her out. On her actual wedding day, Andrea was a basket case while Dino sat